show up and make a difference, living in a state of flow. I get stuff done and I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm strong, I keep growing, I take life on and I keep going. So wake up and say, why not me? Believe in possibility and stay open to the magic every day.
Welcome to the Business Renovator.
Hey, what if the growth you're chasing is already in your business? You want to stick around and listen to today's episode. So you'll get a few nuggets in and around that from a woman who's actually lived that and helps her clients do the same thing. But that's just a tease. Thank you for being here. If it's live, you're here today with us, let us know where you're in. If you have a question, throw it at us. We'll do our best to answer it. If you're not watching us live and you're watching us on replay, hashtag replay would be terrific. And all of you, if you could do three things: hashtag replay when you're in the post, and share and like. And if you have any questions now or in the future, send them our way. We'll do our best to answer them or direct to somewhere where you could get the answer. Without any waste of time, I'm excited to have my wonderful guest with me today. Most people try to grow by doing more. And we're going to talk about that here just a sec. So smart leaders redesign how the business works. Today, I'm joined by Cheryl Texteria, the certified profit acceleration coach, founder of Ghostlight Business Coaching and Consulting. Cheryl keeps successful service-based owners uncover hidden profit and remove quiet bottlenecks without longer hours for chasing ads. She blends real data with real execution. No fluff, just clarity that turns effort into measurable results. Her clients routinely unlock 50 to multiple thousands of dollars while gaining back time without breaking up their calendar. Then what she's not doing is making you work harder. I'm excited to help you learn more about what if the growth you're chasing is already in your business. I'm going to bring her up right now. And here she is. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And you look good. As you said, I look fuzzy. So it's not your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. It's my camera technology. However, we'll just muddle through that. So what's the best thing that's happened to you, or that you've heard from, or about you, or what you've done, or maybe a client success that you've had since the last time we spoke a couple of weeks ago?
Well, I guess the best thing that happened to me was in 2025, I quadrupled my revenue and my profit. So that was probably the best thing. High five.
Good for you. Also, something you got, and you're a pretty modest woman. You're an award-winning coach, which is pretty exciting.
I am. That's correct. Yeah, I got the Coach of the Year award by Focus.com. Thank you to them. That was really amazing. I was pleasantly surprised and honored to be a part of the elite group of people that were given awards in that ceremony. That was great.
That is cool. So I want to go back in your history, as far back as you would like to go. But what were you doing before you got into what you're doing now as a coach?
Yeah, so I had a 25-year career in IT for working for state government. I started out as a programmer, actually a programmer trainee, and worked my way up. I have a degree in mathematics, not in computer programming, so it was a little bit of a deviation from where I thought I was heading. But anyway, I worked my way up and got into project management and the framework of Scrum, which is an agile project management framework. And so when I was about 2 years away from retiring from my state career, I started a business teaching project management and Scrum to entrepreneurs to help them get out of overwhelm and get just some operational efficiency so that they could have more fun in their business and not just be buried in all of the tasks and overwhelm and all of the things. So that's where I started. And then when I found the profit acceleration system, I added that. And it was a perfect addition because what I found was while I was teaching Scrum and project management, I was also teaching my clients how to implement their marketing strategies and helping them implement, holding them accountable to that. So that was really the crux of what I was doing, but I really wasn't getting, I wasn't getting paid for it, and I wasn't getting I wasn't making that connection in my marketing. So when I started using the profit acceleration system, that was the bridge that I really needed to elevate my business.
You said a lot in there that resonates with me, but there's one word there, and it's the F word. And it's the F word that's okay to say in public. Fun.
Fun. That's right.
Yeah, if it's not fun, why are we doing it?
That's right. That's right. And a lot of times people, they start a business and they get away from that dream of what they had, they forget, and then they're just caught up on this, hamster wheel, and they don't know how to get off. And so that's one of the things that I help my clients do, is not only find that hidden profit, but when you find the hidden profit opportunities, you often increase things like their close rate and their lifetime value of a client, so they don't have to hustle as harder to get clients. And that gives them relief right off the bat. I've had clients go from like a 20% close rate to 50 or 60% close rate. And that made a huge difference in the amount of calls that they needed to take every week just to get a client. So it helped them dive into the more fun things that they wanted to do and get back to the true self that they are, of what they started in the first place.
Yeah, that also resonates with me. It got me thinking about way back when, 18 years ago, I hired a mentor to help me get out of my own way and to walk a path that was important to me. One of the things we came up with is I'm in the industry of stopping the insanity of being an entrepreneur. And if people go, what's that? Then I would go in and explain to what that is. But basically, similar to what you're doing, it's helping them get the bounce back in their step, the passion back in the heart, and build the business that they thought they were going to build before they went to, as you said, getting into the what did you call it? It's
The
my
hamster wheel.
thanks. I knew that was thanks for that. Yes, and going around and around and around and head down and butt up. Matter of fact, one of the things he pointed out to me, he gave me a spiel that I could use from the front of the room, and the paraphrasing of it was to be able to stand up in front of the room, because a lot of people in business are challenged, just like what you were saying, with their head down, butt up, and they look up and they say, why the heck are my employees having more time off, making more money than me, and they seem to be happier than I am? I should hunker down and do something else, let them go. Well, there's other ways to deal with that. And that's what I like about what we do as coaches, is to help people find their way to get the fun back into what they're doing and not work so hard.
I agree with that. Definitely. That's one of the things that I really help them to fix in their business, is operational efficiency, but effectiveness as well. So once they get that down, it's easier for them to do content creation, and they're less random with their marketing, more strategic. And then they're actually getting messages out that they really want to get out because they have a strategy. And we even do things like theming for their monthly campaigns, so that it's easier speaking on one topic and going deeper rather than trying to go wide on everything that's going on with a business owner or with your particular client, if you're not working business to business, whatever you're working on, but touching into what's going on with them and like what their dream is, and then what the obstacles are that are in the way. That's the job of us coaches, is to help clear the obstacles so that they can, get out of their own way, like you said, and really maximize the profit and the reward of their business.
Is it crazy of me to ask you to, without telling me the name of the company that you work with, keep that private, but a story that you're really proud of, where somebody's trusted you, done the work with you, and had a success? It could be huge, or it could just be oh my gosh, I never, whatever. Do you have something like that? Is it crazy of me to ask that?
No, actually, two cases come to mind. One is a social media expert I worked with, and she had a particular offer that was making about $2,500 a week, and she just was having a hard time getting it to get momentum and kind of get out on its own. So we worked on what we call the market dominating position. As you know, that's the crux of everything we do, is making sure that we help our clients put themselves in a category of one. So they are the only option, not just any option. And by doing that, when we create that market dominating position, we're also looking at the success rate of their clients and what's going on to help them make a really bold promise. And when we did that, we uncovered some really great results that she was getting for her clients. And then we modified her sales page for that particular offer in just 3 areas on that sales page. And her sales went from $2,500 a week to almost $6,500 a week in a matter of about 7 weeks. So it went up to $4,400 and then $6,500. And that was just like, it was an explosion, but it wasn't just in more clients. It was in more people opted in for her year-long program instead of her 3-month program. So she made more revenue that way. And her close rate went from about, I think it was about 21% to around 54%. So she didn't have to work as hard to get that money and that revenue coming in. And that sales page did most of the work for her. Another one that comes to mind is a more slow growth story. I have a client I've been working with for a couple of years, and each year we've been able to increase her revenue by 25%, actually her profit by 25%, excuse me. And so, each year you're growing by 25%. That's huge, right? That's a huge change in your lifestyle and everything. Like, as Carl Bryan always says, profit is the thing that actually can fix almost every business problem that a business owner has. You have a problem attracting good employees, you want to make more profit, so maybe you can pay them more, you can create a better package for them, you can, instead of trying to attract people out of the unemployed market pool, you can attract people from other employers by being more competitive, having a market dominating position as an employer. If you're struggling to make ends meet on a personal level, you've definitely got to focus in on making more profit. And one of my colleagues, he had mentioned that he decreased the revenue of a business but increased the profit by $250,000 a year. That is massive, and that's the power of what we do.
Yeah, it was like you're reading my mind. Revenue is for ego, and profits for what?
Living.
So, and profit's different than cash, right? So, all of those things are important. And there's a lot of people get into business, I find, and there's an interesting book called The E-Myth Revisited, and he talks about the 3 I's of the entrepreneur. And people get into business. They're great technicians, but they spend most of their time in the technical side and don't take enough time in the one of the I's is the entrepreneurial mind eye. So taking time out to actually go back to where they started and visualize themselves at their future best, and then align themselves with plans, strategies, and systems that help get there. And from what I know about you and what we do, that's what you specialize in, isn't it? Helping them go from being just a technician and the forensic manager, looking back at all and giving them an opportunity to strategically, purposefully build their business on a want to, choose to, love it basis. Those are my words, but that's what I perceive we both do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how my original business, which was called the Scrum Shop, and now my current business, well, they're both still alive and well. They're both out there. That's what they do together, right? Is we create that operational efficiency so that the client can step more into the CEO role of their business and start focusing on things like their data instead of some minute task that they have to do. and get away from task management to strategy management and direction, and actually have a strategic plan, know how to initiate projects for that strategic plan so they can implement the things in that strategic plan and reach the goals of that strategic plan. That's the idea. And so that's what I do, is sort of help them prepare to scale, and then as they're scaling, to stay in that CEO frame of mind so that they don't get their mindset, in a bad place. They stick with the data, because it's really easy to, be sad over no sales. But if you go and look at the data, you actually can be a problem solver instead of just a victim of what's happening to you.
Oh, I love that. Stop being a victim. The other thing I also like too is what you're just talking about loops back to how you started. You mentioned clarity. Clarity is key. If you don't know, if you can't see where you'd like to get to and what the outcomes are, if you're just wandering, a Zig Ziglar thing, if you're a wandering generalist, you'll be in trouble. You need to be a meaningful specific. And that's what I believe you do, as I do. And I don't know if you've heard of CEO, it defined it this way. I forget exactly where I heard it, but I read and study a lot, so I don't know where it came from. I'm not going to take ownership. I didn't invent this, but I'm stealing it. I mean, leveraging it. CEO, we help people get to the place where they're the chief encouragement officer. In Dan Sullivan's teachings, he talks about it's not how, it's who. So who do we have on our team that can help us get to where we want to get to? Because there's people that have got skill sets and drive and energy and interest in things I don't want to do, but they must be done in the business. So if we get the right person on the right bus in the right seat, the bus it's a nice bus ride. I see you nodding, so I think you're kind of agreeing with me.
Absolutely. In fact, my February theme for my Scrum shop, I have Substack called Take Charge Weekly. That's where I talk about all things operational. And then I have a Substack called The Only Option. And that one is about profit acceleration and stepping into the CEO. But one of the things I've been talking about this month, is roles and responsibilities, and how important it is to know what role you're in when you're doing a thing. Often as CEOs of businesses and business founders, we're playing multiple roles. Even after we hire, we might be still playing multiple roles. So it's really important to know what role you're in. I think that it helps prevent shiny object syndrome, where you're just, doom scrolling and you're buying everything that promises, mass improvement fast. It gets you out of that, and you start buying more strategically to fill gaps rather than just to try to look for a miracle.
I guess the miracle is to do the slow down to go fast, and do the leverage compound strategy of compounding, right? Whether it be interest. I can't remember if it was Einstein that was given the original kudos for coming up with that, like the eighth wonder of the world. The compounding activities, small incremental improvements on a regular basis, is how massive change happens. The Japanese car manufacturers are proof of that, because they came into a marketplace where the North American auto manufacturers were crushing it in terms of market share, but they had Mondays, Friday, Wednesdays cars where the Japanese didn't. They allowed their team on the line to push the button to stop it, to fix the issue right away. And as a result of that, for the most part, they have more market share than North American manufactured automobiles. Kaizen, right? Interesting. Why'd I go there? Because systems and doing things right instead of and doing things right for the right reason, there's easier ways to do it, like the leveraging principle. If you have if you're leveraging assets and systems, then lifting things is quite a lot easier, isn't it?
That's for sure. Absolutely. And that's what we do, is we give them leverage, because we're zeroing in. We're almost micro focusing as profit acceleration business coaches. We're micro focusing on one specific area and saying, okay, how can we make small improvements here? And then we do that in another area and another area, and pretty soon it starts compounding on itself. We literally could change a $100,000 a year business to a multi-million-dollar business by micro focusing on these things. And that's the beauty of what we do.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You've taken me down memory lane about some failures. They weren't clients of mine. Thank goodness I can share the story, but I tried to make them clients of mine, but I wasn't good enough at the time. This is early on in my career. And one was a sign shop, and they didn't know what their MDP was. They thought they needed to do sandwich board signs, I guess in a way to serve everybody. So they figured if they did all of those, they would get additional business. Well, what ended up happening was, because they were focusing on that, they didn't get to do what really made their heart sing. What made their heart sing was the three-dimensional sculpture signage that they could go up and put in an office. That's what cranked them up. But they couldn't get enough of that. And it was more profitable than doing I need a sandwich board sign. I need it now. Oh, no, that's too much. So, and it took a lot of time to do a bunch of those to break even. They didn't break even. They're no longer around.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But we can't coach anybody who's not open to being coached. So one of the things that's important is they recognize they have an issue, and their ego is open enough and put aside to at least give us a go for a little bit of time to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. Stabri Subi, he's the author of Sell Like Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've read that book, he says that CEOs need time to plot and scheme. And that was his words. And so I think that, as profit acceleration business coaches, that's what we're sort of doing. We're helping our clients plot and scheme. We're helping them be strategic about what they're doing so that they can actually increase their close rate. They can actually, make fulfillment so much better that people stick around longer. They can have more additional offers and things. So they get a client, they keep that client. They're not in this constant reinventing the wheel and try one thing and try another. I had a client years and years and years ago, several actually. They would do the same thing. They would create a course or something like that, and they'd make the sales page and do everything, and they'd really forget about the marketing. So then they'd send like one email, and nobody would buy, and they'd think, nobody wants this. That's what they would tell me. Nobody wants this. And the problem is that they didn't give their marketing due diligence, and they didn't record their data. They didn't have any strategy behind what they were doing. They were just like grasping at straws, like, oh, I'll try this. I'll try this. Throwing spaghetti at the wall is what it is. And then they just move on to something else, when in reality they had really great products to offer, but they weren't giving it the due diligence on the marketing side. And they got into their heads because they weren't really looking at the data. They weren't thinking about a marketing strategy. They had too much of themselves wrapped in their product, and then it crushed them when nobody wanted it right away.
I'm glad you used the S word that's PG, because I have another word. I'm not going to use it. It's thrown up on the wall. I like spaghetti. I'm going to use that from now on. And then the other thing that came to mind is they've got tunnel vision. They don't know what they don't know. So having a coach who's looking from the outside, doesn't have the same emotional commitment to the idea, opens this up. And as a result of that, they don't try once and say, oh, it didn't work. They have somebody like you or me to help them stay on target as to what they're wanting to do and help eliminate shiny object syndrome. I've done that with my clients where they say, I'm thinking about buying that. I don't say, don't buy that. I will suggest, I'll ask them questions. What's the strategic reason for getting that?
That's right.
Versus that what feels good, it'd be fun to have. That could be true. And maybe they want to do that and have the fun with it. But is it supporting their goals where they want to go, or is it taking them away from that? It's their choice, not mine. It's their business. I just give them a different perspective, and they get to do what they want to do. It's not, I don't think either one of us are arm wrestling people into, you got to do this.
Yeah. Well, I think the data empowers you. So, when I've had client calls where we start the call and they're in tears, and by the end of it, they're empowered and they now understand, they see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Where, because we focus on data, I actually have my VA, I have a data specialist on my team who meets with my clients every single week to help them gather the data. And the reason why I did that is because oftentimes business owners will make the data collection the last priority thing that they have to do. And so if they get busy, they'll just blow it off. And so I keep it really simple. I have basically 4 numbers that they track all the time. That is revenue, profit, leads, and conversions. And then when we're working on a specific area of focus, we identify KPIs for that area of focus, and we temporarily track those things while we're focusing on that thing. But the idea is that we start with revenue, profit, leads, and conversions, and then we dig deeper, not wider, so we can figure out what the cause of poor performance is and what's causing great performance, so we can repeat it.
Yeah.
And so it really makes a difference when we look at that data. And I just don't do it any other way anymore. I focus on that data with my clients every time I meet with them.
I love that. I don't explain it as well as you did, so I'm glad you're on the show. That's cool. The way I explain it is that there's large corporations. I'll leave them nameless because we don't need to give them a plug, but they're out there, and they supply to the community a broad spectrum of things. Our clients, for the most part, are not that size or that scope. So having the data and the focus on what do they do best. You said market dominating position, MDP. What is it they do that nobody else does? As a result of that, it's easier to tell their story. It's easier to resonate and invite people to work with them. So I like what you're talking about, collecting the data and doing that on a regular basis. And you're not one, you have a team. So good kudos to you for having somebody else assist in the minutia so that you can go off and work at the CEO level in your own business for your own clients. That's amazing. There's something I hate about this show. And the people that watch the show regularly are going to know what it is. The show comes to an end. I hate that part. and we're getting to that part. So I do want to share some stuff on about you so people can find you. So bear with me. I plunked that up. That's your LinkedIn. I know people can't see that, but with a little bit of help from technology, there is the URL that you can go find out more about Cheryl and see what she's all about. Where category of 1, businesses are built. Cool. Strategy, positioning, systems, profit acceleration. She's your gal, and you can message her, you can connect with her, you can find out more about her. It's like that ShamWow guy. There's more. Here it comes.
ShamWow guy.
And this is her website, and I'm going to make that easy to find her as well. And Cheryl pointed out this not share IT. It's not share it. It's Cheryl T, because that's her name.
That's right.
It's really simple, but sometimes we get messed up with our the way things show up. My business is actually called PG squared. But when you put in the 2 in the field on a form, it looks like page 2. But it's really PG to the power of 2. So when you put it in here, it just looks like PG2. So I just go by Coach Phil. And Coach Phil is easier for people to find me, as well as the Business Renovator, your host of the show, by the way. Do you have a nugget, a gem, an idea that you would think would be of value to people? One thing that you think they need to pay attention to?
Yeah, actually, just remember that when you started your business, you started it because you are strong and smart and capable. And so even if you have setbacks, if you struggle with some things, you weren't born with all the knowledge to start and own a business. So you have to learn those things as you go. It's on the job training, like there isn't like no other, right? And so just remember that you're smart and capable, and there's no reason why you should give up. Just focus on those 4 numbers: revenue, profit, leads, and conversions. And if you stay focused on those numbers, I think you'll really start seeing a change, because your attention is going to go to the things that are going to help improve those numbers rather than hiding in the background of your business.
Wow. That was great and right on point. And I appreciate you being here with us today. And for people that see this today and or in the future, check her out if you see this episode. This has been a treat. I get to know you a little bit better than the ways we've interacted before. Those were good, but this is better because it's you and I talking about stuff we're both passionate about. I want to thank you again for being on the show. It was awesome.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Anywho, it's not my branding, but I'll make you laugh because you know where it came from.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me. Thank you to the audience.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Well, if you didn't get anything out of that, I think you were asleep because I couldn't capture it all, but I can go back and watch it again, which I encourage you to do. But have fun in what you're doing. Know what business you're in. What is it you do that nobody else does? How can you show up and add value? We refer to that as market dominating position, or the letters are MDP. She helped a client modify a sales page and went from a few $100, what was it, $2,500 to massive growth, and not in one area, an annualized program that was being offered. And I wanted to ask her about Substack, but I might have to have her come back and tell us more about that, because Substack seems to be getting more preeminence. So if you know what it is, you're smarter than me, or at least you're as smart as Cheryl. As always, I would like to remind you all to do this one thing. And depending on which way my camera, look at that, I got it right. The you in there is you. You are unique and you are wonderful. So act like it. Until next time, I'm your host, Coach Phil of the Business Renovator. We'll see you soon.
That's it for another The Business Renovator.
Keep your word to yourself. Show up and make a difference. Living in flow. Get stuff done. Have fun. It's your time. You're the one. Stay strong. Keep growing. Take life on and keep going. Making an impact like it's play. Tomorrow morning, wake up and say it again.
And open to the magic.